الذين يأكلون الربا لا يقومون إلا كما يقوم الذي يتخبطه الشيطان من المس ذلك بأنهم قالوا إنما البيع مثل الربا وأحل الله البيع وحرم الربا فمن جاءه موعظة من ربه فانتهى فله ما سلف وأمره إلى الله ومن عاد فأولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون.
So alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. So we're here tonight. Jazakallah khair for coming, and so mashallah, good attendance and good representation of the community. And I'll be speaking to a project that is near and dear to my heart, and which I'm passionate about, and which is a figure that I have, inshallah, bismillah, for the community. And I hope at the end of this presentation I'll have done my job, bismillah, if you are equally as passionate about it as I am. So that's a stretch goal of mine. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الذين يأكلون الربا لا يقومون إلا ما يقوم الذي يتخبطه الشيطان من المس ذلك بأنهم قالوا إنما البيع مثل الربا وأحل الله البيع وحرم الربا ومن جاءه موعظة من ربه فانتهى فله ما سلف وأمره إلى الله ومن عاد فأولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. Those who eat riba usually will not stand on the day of resurrection except like the standing of a person bitten by shaitan, leading him to insanity. That is because they say trading is only like riba, whereas Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has permitted trading and have forbidden riba. So whosoever receives an admonition from his Lord and stops eating riba shall not be punished for the past. This case is for Allah to judge, but whosoever returns to riba, such are the dwellers of fire, they will abide therein. So that's may Allah save us from that. So that's a time of reference for us from the Quran. And from the Sunnah, Abu Hurairah reported, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, a time will come upon people when they will consume usury, riba. They said to him, is that all of the people? The President ﷺ said, whoever does not take from it will be afflicted by the dust of it. So this is very serious, like we know. And there are so many ayat and Sunnah of Rasulullah that explains the urgency of trying to stay away from riba. So what's the current situation as an ummah here in our homeland, here in North America? So everybody is touched by the dust of riba. And the reason is, even though we live with the fatwa that says that we're allowed to put our money in checking accounts and stay away from savings accounts, the whole institutional basis for that is still based on riba. So wittingly or unwittingly, knowing or unknowingly, we're touched one way or another. And also by an extension of that, the barakah that we should be getting by not being in that situation, we're not getting the full realization of that. So for example, we do not have savings account, which means that we cannot do savings and thrift cultivation and all the good things that comes from that. Also, in the community, we do not have institutional support. We have best effort individual support, but we do not have institutional support for Muslims startups and businesses, no support for Muslim entrepreneurs, as in focused support based on our way of life. There's no economic system dedicated to value creation, really, within the community. And there's no systemic way to fund our projects, our community projects. Jazakallah khair to everyone that works hard to make sure that we have our places of worship and have our schools and all the institutions and assets and facilities we have within the community. But this is based on old school fundraising, right? I call it old school because it's not systemic. Each time the sheikh has to stand in front of all of us and literally shake the money from our pockets, right? So there's no systemic way of doing this. And everything we know is based on having a credit history, really. So recent immigrants or folks who live strictly by the code and do not do credit, which is a lot of us within the community, is out of luck if you really need to get a business going or do something that relies on credit history. And all this leads to low empowerment, economic empowerment for us as individuals and as a community. That's our current situation today. And this leads to a call to action for us to try and do something about it. And from the duty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala places upon us, there are two classifications of the duty. One is Faraj al-Ain, which is individual obligation that all of us have to reckon and get going with. And the second one is Faraj al-Kifaya. So Faraj al-Kifaya, like we know, it's once certain individuals or the group within the community are engaged in doing that, then all of us, the rest who are not participating for one reason or another, are freed from it, from the obligation of having to do it. So since we have this call to action, Salam Way is a platform that Allah inspired me to bring forth to meet this Faraj al-Kifaya of trying to do something about riba for us as a community, so that we try to live a riba-free lifestyle. So this started in 2012, and alhamdulillah, we've been carrying this every point of the way and working hard on it. And myself, with a lot of the resources that Allah provides, alhamdulillah, and a lot of amazing members of the communities, brothers who have listened to the call, and they have also answered the call for that, being part and parcel of what we're trying to do with this, inshallah. So that's a platform of Muslims, by Muslims, for Muslims, dedicated to solving our common problems, our big problems, problems that we cannot solve individually, as individuals or as organizations, problems that are bigger than any one single organization to solve. So this is a platform that's intended as a public benefit corporation to rally us around solving this systemically for all of us. So the vision then is based on 4 thrusts. One being standing up Salam Credit Union. By what I have explained earlier, now the way to try and get away from riba is to get away from institutions that, without our own permission, get us involved with riba, hence the dust of riba. And the modeling and the research that we did came to the fact that the credit union paradigm is a very good model and a very good vehicle to use to ensure that we are actually able to get away from riba. So the end goal here is not just to build a credit union per se. The end goal is to give us the tools and resources as individuals and as a community that we can use to get away from riba. Credit union fits that bill for a lot of reasons. One of the other cardinal points for setting up Salam Way is to find efforts, ways, and means to encourage entrepreneurship within the community. And in that regard, building an entrepreneurial Islamic finance ecosystem, which will take a lot of work. Currently, we have a lot of institutions within the communities, mostly large, dedicated to Islamic finance. We have few banks here and there, mixed with conventional for the most part. And we have a lot of mortgage institutions, we have other institutions. But when you look at it holistically from what an individual needs from either the small to medium business standpoint, they are too large for a lot of the people within the community. We need to focus more at SMB level to help the individuals within the community to come up to that level where they might be able to do the large deals. Another point of that is also empowerment, right? So all this leads to empowerment. Those are the 4 points that Salam will set up to rally us and get done for all of us. Now this, I'm not going to go through this whole slide, but essentially what this matrix shows is on the left side, you have the current state, which I explained earlier, where we have lack of institutional option to avoid river 100%, where we have transactions that are run through institutions that get us involved with, at the minimum, the dust of river, and where we do not have tools that we need to do savings, thrift cultivation, and putting a lot of things together. Thrift cultivation essentially is saying that at the end of the month, if I have $20 left in my pocket, as an individual, that's just $20, right? But by the time 1,000 of us have $20 left in our individual pockets, and we can pull it together on a platform like this, that's $20,000 that we can see, and we can potentially use to help that small business or that individual within the community who has a smart idea to kind of put the money to work for that idea and bring the returns back to everyone that puts into it. So it sounds small in my pocket, but collectively, you can aggregate that and get something going with it. So on the right-hand side is the target state of saying, okay, by the time we're able to bring about this institution that we're working on, inshallah, then we have a tool that will move our current state where we're not happy with any of it to a better state where we're happy with our situation, and inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be happy with us because we're doing things and living according to our value system of being away from riba. So some definitions before we progress. So members, when few slides down the road I'm going to start talking about membership, have at the back of your mind that it refers to customers and owners. So when a member is a customer and is also an owner or a shareholder in the credit union. We mentioned a lot of sign-ups. So sign-up, essentially, what does that mean? Sign-up means we're trying to get some information from everyone. Your name, email, zip code, telephone number, if you care to give it to us, if you want to volunteer so we can contact you. And the reason being that this is information that will help us to have efficiency out of the gate as we build this out. With zip code, for example, you can slice and dice the data to know how we cluster together, which area we should put certain branches and things like that. So this is very, very, very important information so that we do things smart and we do things the right way. Membership formality will be later. It's just sign up that we're looking at, and we're not looking at raising money at this point. Retail and commercial banking. Retail is you go into a bank and you do your personal banking, whatever you do, open an account, take some money, have to do some discussion based on your personal needs with the bank. That's retail banking. And in the bank, you see another lane that says business. So typically that will be commercial banking. And then cooperative, it's a member-focused institution. So what we're looking at is a credit union is a cooperative. It's a member-focused institution. It means that everyone is in it, everyone owns it, and everyone uses it. It's service-focused. It's not based on maximization or return on shareholder value. So the need, we'll see this slide towards the end. At the same time, we need to get some signatures going. Passed around some papers to help us with that. Then we will need time and expertise in investors, which is essentially a value for everyone who wants to get involved with this. To volunteer is an opportunity to volunteer, and let's put our best foot forward in the community to get this done. We also need not high net worth individuals to invest. There are needs, obviously, that we will need to raise some money for. And we have investment profile, and we're working on the tools, an Islamic-based tool that you can use for such investment. And so we can have separate discussion one-on-one with individuals who want to get involved that way. We also need professionals. We need a lot of professionals, like you can imagine. You will see the scale at which we're looking at it. We're looking at large scale. We're looking at everyone we can find in banking, finance, accounting, IT, HR, wealth management, business management, Sharia, Islamic banking and finance, and many, many other professionals. In essence, inshallah, this will be a good platform to put us all to work and get the benefit for us individually and together. So let's talk a little bit about credit union and a bank. So at the street corner, you probably pass by that logo that says credit union. You say, okay, well, that's probably a bank. And then you look at the bank, okay, we know what a bank is. Well, credit union is different from the bank. So credit union are members owned, right? And then the focus is in providing service to the members. The focus is not in making profit. Yes, you make some profit to keep the operation going and make sure that you don't go under, but that's not the primary focus. Bank, on the other hand, are owned by shareholders, and its purpose in life is to maximize shareholder value, right? The purpose for which you also set up a credit union is for people and community, like we're trying to do here. Bank is purely for profit. The ownership is members are the owners, like we said, for credit union, and for the banks, the ownership is those that set it up, the shareholders. The decisions made in a credit union is a cooperative banking system, right? So the decision is democracy, one man, one vote. You put in a board that is representative of the wish of the people, so that it can be focused on the services and attuned to the needs of the community. The decisions from the bank is made by shareholders, right? Now, there are a lot of similarities here. Your deposits in the banks are guaranteed by the federal government to the tune of $250,000. Same for credit union. Both are regulated, and you can do everything that you do in a bank in a credit union. You can run your checking account, your savings account, and finally, inshallah, we'll be able to have savings account, being that we will set it up correctly in a way that it will align with the Islamic model for that. And then you can withdraw your money from an ATM, you can do online banking and all this neat stuff. So literally, this is actually a credit union out there, Premier America Credit Union. I kind of place it there because I like their moniker. They're saying that bank where you own the place, right? So that's the whole idea. The whole idea of a credit union is like a bank, but you actually own it. So this is an opportunity for all of us to get together and have our own bank, right? So literally licensed to print money. There's government oversight and stability of credit unions. In North America, you have over 6,000 credit unions. We have about almost 200 in Texas. And you have over $100 million union members, credit union members. We have about 4 million in Texas. The assets under management by credit union is $1.7 trillion, about $4.5 billion in Texas. So, as I mentioned these statistics, you can see that we're actually late to the game as a community, trying to do something here, right? Savings and reserve is $1.6 trillion. It's about $35 billion in Texas. And you have access to 30,000 plus ATMs nationwide, just being part of a credit union. So it's a robust, mature institution and platform that is based on cooperation to set it up, and cooperation between credit unions to get it going. So what we're looking at from a Salam Credit Union standpoint is it will be riba-free, and we've developed a lot of models relative to ownership, profit sharing, risk sharing, cost sharing, the fact that it's cooperative and Sharia compliant. This is regulated, right? But then we can have our own policy that takes from the regulation from the government oversight, and we can make some amendment that kind of fits or that's tailored towards meeting our own value system of Sharia. The structure of the credit union, the members are the boss, right? As opposed to the board of directors. The members decide, they can hire and fire the board, right? And the products that we're looking at, inshallah, bidnillah, is a lot of Islamic banking and finance products. So we can do checking and savings accounts based on the principle of Islamic banking in that sense. Investment account, musharaka, mudaraba, and all the good products that we can bring about through an Islamic banking and finance standpoint. We'll have trade accounts, short-term murabaha contracts, and the long-term musharaka, and all of that, right? So we have experts that are plugged in and working with us from an Islamic finance standpoint to make sure that the products that we bring out are Islamically sound, and also that it's something that meets the regulation set for us to operate under. So the value proposition for us from an individual and community standpoint is that we're looking at setting up a credit union that will enable us to have halal financing for our commercial projects, help establish Muslim-owned businesses, support Muslim women with capability development within our community. It's going to be community-focused. That's the whole essence of this. Help establish eliminate restrictions of using riba into institutions, thereby maximizing the value of the dollar for wealth creation. Now, we have lived with some certain restrictions using conventional bank. It's just that we just roll with it, right? Like I explained earlier, we can't do thrift cultivation, we cannot pull our resources together, and a lot of members of community cannot actually participate in the economy because of lack of credit, because of not interested really from the fear of Allah of doing certain things. So finally, we can release the untapped talent within the community to get a lot of things going for themselves and for the community. Support Muslim institutions, our Masjids, Muslim homes, old people homes and sports centers, and all the projects that we might want to bring forth. Now we will have a basis to actually support these projects, as opposed to having to constrain those projects to go out there to meet all the other requirements of the conventional banks. Halal student loans and support for young Muslims. This is something that is near and dear to my heart. I strongly believe that we have enough wealth and resources within the community to ensure that we have a neat, blind system within the community, where anyone who Allah has given the brains should be able to get an education to whatever level he needs to go, in spite of the financial situation of the parents. Being Canadian, I know I've lived it, so I know what that means. And I think within the community here in the US, it's something that I think we can do. We have enough for us, we have enough going for us within the community that by the time we are able to build a platform that allows us to live a river-free lifestyle, we can begin to support things that are actually very key as common things that will develop the capability and uplift the community. Orphans, seniors, and needy support. We're all orphans at the end of the day. Might be a little bit older than the others, but we're all here temporarily. And orphans need special care. Seniors need special care. And whatever it is that we have to do as a people, as a community, to provide this special care for them, we finally have services that we can actually roll out on the platform of our own economic vehicle to get a lot of these things done. Grow the wealth and health of Muslims, individuals, and communities. So alhamdulillah, I mean, we We have a lot of people that are working on this right now from the point of being engaged, alhamdulillah. There's myself, I don't need additional introduction, I believe. And we have a team of advisors, a board of advisors that are, mashallah, tabarakallah, all volunteers, by the way, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who are bringing, who are supporting us in making sure that we progress this idea for us as a community, and making sure that we set this out right out of the gate in a way that it's Islamically sound and we do not repeat certain mistakes, like trying to mix things up unnecessarily where we shouldn't. So there's Dr. Abdulbari Mashal. He's a PhD. He's a member of IOFI. IOFI is one of the boards for Sharia. It's out of Bahrain, and it's an accounting and auditing organization for Islamic finance, international Islamic finance, right? So they give a lot of the guidance, they come up with a lot of the fatwas, and Dr. Barry Mashal actually, his company is Raqaba, and they audit all the Islamic finance institutions currently in the US, at least most of them from what I know, the major ones. So, alhamdulillah, we have the benefit of his advice in how we move forward with this. Sheikh Ridwan Saleh, it's someone that needs no introduction, at least here. Mashallah, tabarakallah. He's, mashallah, one of the pillar of the community, as we have it in Texas, both here and North Texas, and we're having the benefit of his advice, alhamdulillah. This is a brother within our community here in Champions, Brother Basil Daly. He's a banker, finance and investment management expert, has a lot of experience with banks, and we're having the benefit of his advice, alhamdulillah, on how we operationalize and do our operational planning, in how we build the branches that we need to build. We have legal, corporate law, and general counsel in Brother Mohammed Sharif, Obed Sharif. He's a graduate of University of Houston Law Center. He's a JD in law, and alhamdulillah, we're having the benefit of his counsel on corporate law and how we structure this and how we ensure that we're able to meet all the requirements of the law of the land as we move forward with this. At the same time, making sure that it makes sense, really, to do certain things. We have Brother Abdul Sabur Bello. He's actually, mashallah, he's here with us tonight. And he's a professional accountant with broad expertise in business and financial practices in many industries, really. So treasury, regulatory compliance and finance, that's his expertise. Mashallah, is an MBA and CPA, and we thank him for his wealth of experience that he's bringing to bear to help us do a lot of things out of the gate correctly. Jazakallah khair. We have Dr. Nasir Hussain. He's a PhD and MBA, and he's also an engineer and a PMP. He's, mashallah, a multidisciplinary brother. His focus is Islamic finance and economic models from a risk standpoint. So there are a lot of things we do. We have, he's a risk management expert. He can help us with all of that. We have our own in-house scholar, mashallah, a resident scholar here, Sheikh Mamdouh. Mashallah, he's helping us with a lot of interfacing that is required with the fatwas from the sources, and also helping us with his wealth of knowledge and experience in the community and on Islam, and to help us make sure that we do things right as we move forward. We have Professor Sadiq. Professor Sadiq is a professor in Texas Christian TCU up in Dallas. He has an MA from Islamic law from University of Medina. He had his BA there, he has an MA there, and he's a professor up in North Texas. He's, mashallah, one of the pillars of the community over there, and he's providing a lot of the anchor that we need, really, in a lot of areas, in a lot of ways. We have Brother Abdul Khabir. He's an MBA and MSc as well. He's an entrepreneur, he's a businessman. He has businesses both here and in Saudi Arabia. He's one of, mashallah, tabarakallah, one of the pillars of Islamic Center of Arvin, where they have actually built, like we know, a model that I think it is a good model to replicate in a lot of places. And alhamdulillah, mashallah, tabarakallah, I see that here. A group of the brothers came, mashallah, motivated to try and do something similar here in spring. Paradise Farms, if you don't know about it, check it out. So brother, Abdul Habir, mashallah, tabarakallah, he's providing us a lot of advice and anchor in the North Texas as well. So this is a team right now, focused on trying to bring to life the credit union. Now, it needs to be said pretty quickly before we get to question and answer that Salam Way is just a vehicle to champion and to do the work, right? The credit union is going to be set up. It's not set up yet. And we're doing all the work and all the heavy lifting to make that happen. The credit union, once it's set up, is going to be owned by you, right? It's not going to be owned by Salam Way. Salam Way is just coming forward to do all, to champion, bringing everyone together. Because somebody's got to champion this, like we know, with their experience in the corporate world. You're going to have a champion, you're going to have a sponsor, you're going to have somebody who is actually doing all the evangelizing, right? So that's what Salam Way is doing, right? Alhamdulillah. And I thank Allah for all his facilitations on that front. So the need, now, it needs to be said also that what we're going for is a no-interest credit union. So we've been very forthright with the regulatory bodies and telling them that we want a no-interest credit union. So the question is, has this been done before, right? And the answer is yes, it really has. We do know that the Jafari community, mashallah, blazed the trail in pushing for this. And they spent 8 years, and at the end of the 8 years, they were able to get a Jafari no-interest credit union for their 23,500 members in Texas. So, if you may, we're leveraging their playbook to get this done, inshallah, and we've done all the interfacing that we need to start the conversations with the regulatory body. We have the Department of Credit Union in Texas, and we've done all the interfacing, and we're working with them to try and get this done, inshallah. Now, as part of the due diligence, we need 25,000 signatures, which is, it's up to us how quickly we can get that. And the reason being that this is how we can show at the grassroots level that we're actually ready for this, right? And this is my request, humble request to each and every one of us tonight is that we passed around some papers earlier. If you don't have it, please ask for it. We have quite a bunch here. Leave your details, your name, email, your zip code, and telephone number if you're motivated to volunteer to work with us to make this happen for all of us. You can also sign up at salamway.org, salamway.org. Just go to the website, pull out your phone, go to the website now or whenever, and just take care of that. And take it, and I encourage you to also have your families do the same. Anyone that is at 16 years and above, typically, will have a bank account, right? So anyone who can have a bank account can support this. And we're trying to set that threshold in the sense of that's how come we can see how realistic our data it really is at the end of the day, right? I'm also making a clarion call for time and expertise investors, which is whatever expertise you have, bring it forward. Put it to, let's benefit from it. Let's your community benefit from it. My selfish reason for doing this is really that, alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been very generous towards me in a lot of ways. And he's given me some talents, mashallah, that like Yusuf alayhi salam, he presented himself. He did not just put whatever, he didn't just offer the advice, but he also put himself forward. And now the rest is history, like he says. So I'm putting myself forward as the one in the community to help us do this. And I'm encouraging everyone to do the same. I have seen, in my personal experience, there's a lot of barakah in that. When you take care of the needs of the people and you work hard on doing that for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He meets all your needs and even more. So I'm encouraging myself, I'm encouraging everyone to be time and expertise investors. There are a lot of talents within the community. Whatever you have, time or energy or expertise, please let's benefit from it. We're at the point right now, on also, not to be remiss, on mentioning investors, right? High net worth individuals, we will need to have some conversations on how you can benefit from this and how you can put your money to work for you in a halal way. There's no other way, in my mind, than doing it with this. So I'm available one-on-one or any other time that I can be contacted, and we can set up a separate session one-on-one, and we can show how the investment model makes a lot of sense. We have a model developed for this, and you will realize that we're not raising money for this. It's something that we believe that it should be investment-based as opposed to raising money, because that will go with the model that we're trying to build, which is based on people putting their work to work for them. And they will own this. They will be part owner of this. We will all be part owners of this. Operations planning. We've started some work on that. So if there are folks that have credit union experience, like I mentioned earlier, banking and finance experience, accounting experience, IT, HR, health, wealth management, whatever experience you have that you think we can benefit from, or you might want to, that's portable, that we can move in here, get involved. Inshallah, bismillah, we're praying hard to get it licensed, and once we get licensed, we will have to build pretty quickly to meet the needs of the people. So we're here, I'm here within the community. This is my home community, alhamdulillah, at this point. And we have website developed, SalaamCU.org or .org. You can go there, sign up. And we have FAQs developed on the site. We have a lot of the, some of you might have seen me in some of the conventions. We sponsored some, we had silent booths, we did all of this in our community engagement. We have a lot of pictures to show. We have a lot of endorsements also on the website by, mashallah, a lot of people. So we have, on the website you can see all this. And then we have a digital hub that we're developing for SalaamCU.me. We're few people there at this point. But we will progressively develop that as a platform that we will leverage for entrepreneurship training, helping people with all that's required from that standpoint, moving forward. So, of course, we're active on the social media walls, like Facebook and LinkedIn group. There's a LinkedIn group right now. If you're on LinkedIn, please send me an invite. You can look me up, Abdul Razak Harina, and then we can get LinkedIn. And we have a closed group of professionals on the LinkedIn group that we're using to get the professionals involved, and we're doing the operational planning and doing a lot of the heavy lift of what we need to do going forward on this. So that's what I have really. Open for questions.
So how far are you from getting the license?
Right, the question is how far are we from getting the license? We're about, alhamdulillah, with the planning, we're hoping to get a license this year. Now, there are some prerequisites leading to that. One is to get a minimum of 25,000 signatures, and that's a clearing call to all of us. So the answer, it depends on all of us. How soon we can get that, then will determine how far along we could go.
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I know that you've been collecting, people have been registering with you. Can you tell us how many people have registered, so that based on that we can, most of us could come together and assist in letting more people sign up.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. At this point, looking at all the sources and all the data, we have about 13,000 right now. Our target is 25,000. And this is why we're doing this. One of the reasons is to now get in front of you. And alhamdulillah, that gave us the conviction that this is actually workable. For a while it was, considering that it took us quite a bit to get here. So yeah, I think that now that we're here, alhamdulillah, we can get all involved and get the message out and get the many signatures.
Salaam.
Sheikh
Abdul Razzaq, I don't know if this question is too early for it, but I was wondering about the credit union. You mentioned the word risk-free real quick and then go through it that much. Risk-free, that's a big word. I mean, to me, if I have a saving account and I want to move it from Chase Bank and bring it to you, what kind of guarantees do I get that my money is right there? What if I need it next week and then I come to you and you say, I'm sorry, we're using it, why don't you come back next year, we might find some of it for you.
Oh, mashallah. Yeah, and we look forward to having that large account. So there are two levels of guarantees. There is a guarantee by the federal government of your deposit, right, which is saying you will not lose the money. Now, as Muslims, we actually have a better guarantee than that, right? The product itself, for it to be Islamically sound, there's an amana involved, right? And the banking principle at the first level from an Islamic banking standpoint is based on amana, which is your money is here, and whenever you want it, you can have it, right? That's the amana. You pay me a little fee for that, right? Because it's so large, you can't really keep it by yourself, right? With that said, we were going to have investment accounts. And so based on the investment account, it will be an understanding between yourself and the institution how long the kind of allowance and the terms that it's kind of like time deposit type situation, right? So that will be a negotiation and agreement that we decide to invest certain amount in certain product, but it's something that you do willingly. Now, the ones that you didn't invest and you just put it in your checking account is there whenever you want it. That's the principle. Any other question?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi
Wa alaikum assalam.
Jazakallah khairan. It was much needed for the longest time. Finally, Jazakallah khairan. May Allah bless you coming forward. We desperately need this, inshallah. Our du'as and blessings are with you. At the same time, I have a concern. I used to live in Saudi.
Yes.
And the only thing changed was rather saying interest. They were saying commission. So I don't know how far we can go with this. Is there a live sample out there that is really not just trying to get to your ear from hardest part? It is really based on what is supposed to be. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, barakallah fiqh. And that's a question that I've been asked here and there as well. It's a question in a lot of people's mind, by the way. It's a very important question. So yes, the guarantee. That's why we have a Sharia board, right? So the Sharia board will ensure at two levels. One, the product that we offer will be sound from a Sharia standpoint. That's why you have the auditing organization like IOFI to make sure that the product is sound. And then once you operationalize that and people try to consume that product, then making sure that the way that is done is also sound. That's why you have periodic audits. This is a field that you have a lot of fatwas and there's a lot of expertise within the community. It's a field that's matured now, especially in Malaysia and the Islamic world and all of that. So, but I know what you're talking about in the sense of people try to mix it up sometimes. Because we are setting a credit union whose focus is not to try and maximize shareholder value, we can afford to be very conservative in what we go out for, because we're not, the main reason is to do things right? So this is where we'll be more careful, yes. This is where we, and this is why credit union is actually a good model to try and do this.
Assalamu alaikum. My question is about the membership requirement. So can you put a restriction on who can be a member? Can you include a non-Muslim who doesn't like interest as well? Can you also include them as a member? And also you mentioned about some other organization who are running a similar non-member program. How are they doing right now? Are they still alive and how are they doing?
Okay, mashallah. Okay, so as for field of membership, so the credit union by definition has what's called field of membership. Excuse me. So that's excuse me. That it has what is called field of membership. So you have a pool by design, right? So your field of membership could be a company, right? HP Credit Union, for example. I don't know if one exists, but potentially, right? I know there used to be a Chevron Credit Union and like that. So field of membership could be the company. So there's a pool, there's a focus. Credit union, the bond between the members is very important. So what's the bond based upon? The stronger the bond, the more healthy at the end of the day the credit union is going to be, right? The bond could be by place of work, or it could be by religion affiliation. That's one of it. It's a faith-based. So ours, inshallah, will be faith-based, and so we have individuals within the community as well as organizations within the communities who will be members, right? Now, the second level of your question is that could non-Muslims be members? I've actually been approached, believe it or not. In a lot of the engagements we've had, there have been folks who have said, okay, I love this idea of no interest, right? I mean, I'm sold. Count me in. And I'll be like, actually, yeah, maybe not at this point because we have a field of membership that's focused on the Muslims. That's today, building it up. Once it's built up and we have a system and it's an institution, why not, right? I mean, I see a situation where it would be a good dawah tool too, right? So.
I have one question. I've been a member of a credit union for the last 20 years and I've been really happy. So it will be similar thing that we'll be able to get that from the money from different branches, some kind of interaction. I can go to the ATM, the machine, or some other credit union and get the money from there. So it has worked better than bank for me. I'm expecting this will be something similar.
Absolutely. The good thing about this is one of the principles of credit union is cooperation between credit unions, right? So, and that actually reduces the pressure on how much we have to come up with initially to roll this out. So you can have, there are services that are provided for all credit unions that allows you to actually have branch sharing even. And so you can walk into your credit union at work, for example, and make a request, once we set it all up, that you want to pull up Salam Credit Union profile, and you transact your business based on that. And then we will have all the tools for online banking and all of that. And there's a network of ATMs that is actually surcharge free, more than 30,000 nationwide, that you can have access to, inshallah, once we build this up. Yes, I don't have any question.
Is it going to be FDIC issued?
Yes, so FDIC is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation that makes sure that whatever money you put in the bank to the tune of $250,000 is guaranteed by the federal government, that you're not going to lose that money, right? Hence the regulation for banks. There's an equivalent for credit union, also to the tune of $250,000. It's called NCUA, which is the National Credit Union Association, which is the equivalent and for all intents and purposes does the same thing FDIC does for credit unions. So yes, so the answer is yes.
So my question will be quick. It's credit union by nature, it's a cooperative organization, which means its board is elected by the members. So what are the measures you are already looking forward to put a safeguard measure? For example, there is a majority, maybe a small amount of majority decides certain product which other people early on decided that's not a Sharia compliant product, but later on some other majority says this is a Sharia compliant. So how you are safeguarding those kind of issues?
That's good. That's a very good question. So the safeguards that we're building is in the way we set up the policy today. So once we get licensed and by the government, we're providing some policies that is clear from a Sharia standpoint and from the law of the land standpoint on how we're going to operate, and that's the work that's going on right now. And based on those policies, the Sharia board has the primacy on Sharia issues, right? I myself as a layman cannot compare with someone like Dr. SalaamCU on any of this, right? So we're bringing the best of the community to look after the Sharia issues for us, and how we design the products, and those will have primacy on Sharia issues. Now, when it comes to operational issues, and then this is based on the policies. Once we set up the policies, then the board cannot change that. The boards operate based on the policy, right? So you won't have a scenario where you have a board that will go against what the policy says. I think that would be grounds to change it.
The board doesn't get replaced by because of the majority board. That would be.
It's one man, one vote, really, right? In the sense that everybody that opens, or one man, one woman, one vote, everyone that opens an account in the credit union right away has a vote. Vote is not based on how much you have in the credit union. It's based on democracy. You might own half of the asset, but you have one vote. So.
Inshallah, we'll take one more question from the sister side and then we'll wrap it up.
Barakallah.
Assalamu alaikum. You said that
Walaikum
you were doing this in Canada. Is that correct?
Eventually, inshallah.
Were you doing this in Canada? Was such a setup in Canada?
Oh no. This journey started. So, alhamdulillah, I have the benefit of the. Is that it? No, it's not in Canada at this point. No. Oh, okay. So the clarification there is that I have the benefit of being. I've been both Canadian citizen and American citizen, and that puts for me a lot of pressure to try and do it on both sides of the border. And so that's from my standpoint. And there is a lot of the work we did from 2012 to 2013 actually. Was up in Canada. We did some work with Sheikh Bilal Phillips on this, in how we went to the community and tested the model that's going to work for solving the riba issue. And then we landed on the credit union paradigm. And then once I came down south again, we tried to make it work. And so the strategy, inshallah, is to build it here, Texas as a hub, and go nationwide from here, and then take it to Canada. That's the strategy, inshallah, the roadmap that we're looking at.
Very good. Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you all very much for participating tonight. And thank you for keeping the questions short. We do appreciate that, because sometimes, some of you know who you are. You may give us a big lecture. So, Jazakumullah khairan. And Sheikh Abdul Razak, thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and your family. And all of the brothers and your families who are participating in this effort. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your efforts. May He multiply the benefits, inshallah, and may He use it as a means for our hidayah. Jazakumullah khairan. Inshallah, the Sheikh will make dua, and after that, you're all invited to go to the gym and have dinner with us. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Just before that, please, whatever paper has been passed to you, you can keep one, which is as information for yourself and your family and your network. And then the other one, if you have filled it out, you send it to us. And if you also have done it online, that's fine as well. ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم وتب علينا انك انت التواب الرحيم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحان الله وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.